My name is Bushra Zafar, and I'm doing a master's in business administration and management over here in the Montfort. My topic revolves around a lot of points, and one of the points is that why confidence is associated as an area of development or weakness when it comes to female gender, and associated simply as development was associated with men. 4 years ago, if someone came up to me and asked me my name, I didn't have enough confidence to introduce myself back to them, specifically if that person was a man. 4 years ago, someone came up to me and said that I will be giving presentation to an audience of minimum 100 to 150, right, left, and center. I will be presenting on TEDx. I will just look at them straight away and laugh. You're crazy. And imagine the significance of confidence that you're walking through the main hall of your university, and in UAE you have to have a main reception, and behind that main reception there's always a board of honor where all the main devoted students and honorary student mentions are written over there. And you see on that board of honor a big chart with your idea, your thinking, and your hard work written on it, but your best friend's name written under it. And you do not have enough confidence to confront that person, go up to that person and ask them about it, that not only you took that idea from me, but you do not have enough guts to give me the credit for it. And I cannot explain how many times I have been manipulated, abused, and used. That's where your family and your mentor and your teachers come into. My principal, which is equivalent to the vice-chancellor of this university, I have no idea how out of thousands of students he had his eye on me, called me up to his office, and he said something to me that changed my life literally forever. And it sounds dramatic because there's no other way to explain it. I knew that he called me, all the emotions are coming up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get expelled, I might have done something bad, he's gonna just get out of the university. He saw the facial expression, he's like, Bushra, please calm down, I'm not gonna eat you, everything's fine, I just want to talk to you about something, okay? He said something to me, a big statement, that my sister has been telling that statement to me over and over again, but I never believed her because I thought she loved me and she might be saying something because she's in love with me, over-exaggerating and stuff. He said, in the era that we live, the globalized world that we live in, almost every human being has potential to excel at certain something. Someone might be good at sports, someone might be good at mathematics, someone might be good at astronomy, but there are a handful of people that have the potential to excel at everything simply by putting their mind to it. And in 66 years of my life, I can count on my fingers how many people that I have met who have that potential, and you, my friend, are one of them. That blew my mind. I'm like, oh my God, the Vice-Chancellor is saying this thing about me. I went home that night, looked myself in the mirror. I was 86 kilos at that time. I was about to enter my 4th year of my bachelor's. And after a very long time, I looked at myself and I said, this is it. I'm tired of myself. I need to change. I lost 26 kilos in 6 months. Half of it I've gained again. I started looking up. I removed all the toxic people from my life. I started answering my own questions. That made me really lonely. I became lonely for a very long time, but that made me respect and love myself even more, if you want to take it that way. I started asking questions to my professors. I applied for university outside of UAE, got accepted to universities, several universities outside of UAE, accepted an offer from De Montfort because they were excellent in student engagement, came here, and I was brimming with energy. I wanted to be a symbol of power for everyone. I wanted this university to be put on the map, and I wanted people to know that Bushra did it. I always used to sit in the front row of my classroom. I always used to put my hands up whenever a question was asked. I always used to answer all the questions, even if they're right or wrong. I didn't care about it. I just wanted to put myself out there. And of course, whenever they were in the first row, when I was sitting in the first row, and I used to see the rest of the row is filled with men. Only one girl is courageous enough to take that position and expose herself. So whenever a professor used to walk in to give a lecture for the very first time, He would deliver the lecture, ask a question, and subconsciously look at the side of the first row where all the men are sitting and ask a question. And then I will pop in the corner, like, yeah, I think the answer for this one is this. And then he will shift. Oh, you're also sitting here? And they'll have this facial expression of surprise that I didn't expect the one only girl sitting in the front row to answer these questions again and again and again. And the very next time when that professor walked into the lecture and asked a question again, automatically, from the whole row, leaving all the men, he will turn towards my side and ask, the meaning of corporate finance is? And I'll be like, this. And they're like, yeah, spot on. I knew. We'll have this face expression of satisfaction that I knew she'll do it. And I lived for that. That gave me so much energy, and I'm like, I did it. I put that expression on his face. I'm powerful. Life went on, things went good. One day, we were going through a lecture, and the lecturer was going on, everything was fine. I was sitting in the third row, not the first one, because my best friend was not comfortable with sitting in the first one, and I respect that. The professor goes on and says, I have a question. What's the difference between shareholder and management? And I, as usual, the noisy one, put the hand up. This is the difference, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, spot on. The lecture gets finished, we walk outside. My best friend next to me, she says, Bushra, I think the difference between the shareholder and management could have been this. And I'm completely dumbfounded because her answer was better than mine. And I was like, okay, you knew that. Why didn't you share with it for 5 minutes? The professor was like, tell me. And why didn't you say it? And at that point, she said a statement, maybe because at that time I didn't have the right tools, maybe because I was not mature enough. I didn't understand what she meant, but boy, did I understood the meaning of that statement in a hard way. She looked at me in a very innocent way and she said, Bushra, I'm scared of the faceless audience. And I'm like, okay. Time went on. Being the chairperson of a student society, you have a lot of responsibilities, and one of the responsibilities is to make sure that you market the society in a right way that you attract members, and so the society can go on. So I had to make sure that I market my society within the university or outside the university to gain members, and an opportunity popped in where the department was doing the exact same thing that we were doing for students, and they were like, let's collaborate. And I'm like, yeah, that's an excellent opportunity. On 27 February 2019, I walked into the auditorium with my society members. Half of them were with me. My vice chair was with me, vice president, social media coordinator, marketing manager, etc., photographer. And as soon as I take a step inside, 60% of my confidence got drained out of me like an open tap when I see suits and ties, gray hair, glasses, suit bags, coffee mugs, and stern expression. I can't even make that expression like that. Simon, no offense. I remember when I did the audition, I made this expression, and Simon was sitting in the exact same way, and he was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean it. And my vice chair next to me noticed that, and he's like, what happened? I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this because I'm not prepared for it. See, 90% of the time, when I give a presentation, I usually give it in front of students. So the approach I take towards students is entirely different than the approach I take towards the age group that is above 35 or 40. So I wasn't prepared for that kind of audience. And my vice chair starts giving me a pep talk like Rocky Balboa, like, you can do it. I've seen you ace presentations. I mean, you're amazing. Yeah, I'm good. I walk in, I go into the platform, hold the mic, start my presentation. 5 minutes go by, and after 5 minutes, a blackout crept on me. Now, usually if you do research on the internet, a blackout lasts for a few seconds to a few minutes. But this blackout was massive. It lasted for 10 minutes straight. And the definition of blackout at that time for me was that I was completely stuck in my body like this. My mind was screaming words at me. I couldn't make my mouth say them. I could see everything, I could hear everything, but it's like I was trapped inside my own body. Now, that's not even the worst part. My members were there, so I have my photographer over here, the social media coordinator was at the back of the auditorium. The rest of the members were over here. So I was live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and people on the live feed were asking questions, why is she stuck? That's not even the worst part. The worst possible reaction that you can expect from your audience, that's what I saw and heard that day. I heard people scoffing. I heard people smirking. I heard someone say, what the hell is going on? I heard someone say, can someone move her? And I'm listening to that. I'm watching that. I can't do anything. The worst part about it is that you can expect this kind of reaction from teenagers or people from my age group. But expecting that kind of audience for people who call themselves so mature, who say that we are a manager of this department or that, was something that I didn't expect. I didn't. My first flight and fright reaction was to walk away through that door, just run away. But then your family upbringing comes into. My family is very strong about power and self-respect. So, because of my family upbringing, a small part of my brain stood up and fought with the rest of the brain at, I'll ask you one small question and then you can run away from that door. Are you ready to face the consequences of losing whatever amount of respect is left in front of the people who are sitting in front of you? Your members, if people are looking at you live, and forget all of them, are you ready to lose respect in your own eyes? Are you ready for that? Then walk away. And when it comes to self-respect, Bushra is a titanium shield. She will not step back. That made me got over my blackout. I do not remember what I said, but I just remember I was stammering like a train. I started moving in circles. I started moving my hands. I became bouncy. I became animated. When I walked outside of that auditorium, I was panting as if I went on a round with a professional boxer. That's where the worst part came in. There was no clap, there was no encouragement, you did it, you overcame that, you were a champion, stuff like that, nothing. The organizer comes up on the stage, takes up the mic, and she says, sorry about that, and the whole auditorium laughed. Each and every one of them, and I heard that. I had no idea how much it affected me mentally, physically, and psychologically, until 1.5 months later, I had a group presentation for my assignment, and I walk into that auditorium, I see a professor, I see a camera, I see my friends, and I start shaking irrevocably. A girl that was capable of speaking in front of 150 people to 200 people was scared of speaking in front of 7 people. That's the day when I knew when my friend said, I am scared of the faceless audience, because now I am scared of the faceless audience. This experience has taught me one of the most valuable lessons of my life. I used to believe for a very long time that people who have no fear are the absolute symbol of courage out there, like our teachers, who are handling 300 students one at a time, asking questions from every direction. They are powerful. They are courageous. But experiencing this, fighting the demons and the shadows and the voices at the back of my head every single time when I walk into that door for a presentation or even talking to someone face to face, I realized courage is not the absence of fear. It is the art of mastering the fear itself. Now, moving from the point, what happens when you do not use confidence and the problems surrounding it, I move to my next point, that what happens when you do not use confidence at the right time and the right place, and what magnitude of opportunities you lose. 6 years ago, me and my best friend came up with an idea that we should develop an application that can listen to anything and tell you what it is. It could be a song, it could be a documentary, it could be a melody. It'll just listen to it and tell you what it is. We had the sources, we had the resources, we had a web designer, web engineer, everything at hand. The only thing needed was us to muster enough confidence to impress an investing body, a panel of corporate managers. You know, suits and ties and glasses. Just because we didn't have enough confidence, me and my friend gave up that idea. And I was like, I think I'm very young. My friend was like, yeah, I have a husband and child to take care of. I think we should just leave it. And like, yeah, leave it. In 2018, I read in Financial Times, Apple Incorporation purchased Shazam at an astounding $400 million business deal. Let's go back 6 years. If me and my friend had enough guts and confidence to come up and develop that application, let's say TAM, then in 2018, Apple Incorporation would have a choice to choose between Shazam or TAM to invest those $400 million into. And you know what I did? I called my friend. I'm like, you're an idiot. She's like, no, you're an idiot. I'm like, we both are idiots. You see, that's what happened when you do not use the confidence at the right place and the right time, and that's $400 million. I would have been a millionaire today. That's the amount of magnitude, and that's the amount of opportunities you lose. And you know, when I talk to people and I tell them about my goals and my ideas, people look at me and say, you're crazy. Even my family is like, crazy. I see myself at the top. I see myself as a successful woman. I see myself as a star. But you know, a very wise and intelligent man once said, people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are usually the ones that do. Can anyone guess who said that? I think all my Apple users will agree because it was Steve Jobs. So when people say that I'm crazy, when people say that despite me saying I'll become a star, no, you're crazy, you can't do that. Thank you for saying that because you're solidifying the fact I have power to change the world, and I will. I promise you, you will see this face, maybe with a different name, but you will see this face at the top, and you'll be like, yeah, she's the TEDx girl who talked. So if you are thinking of being a ballerina or a dancer at the age of 45 and you're a teacher, please go do that. If you want to invent a new type of microscope, please go do that. If you want to develop a formula that can make time travel possible, please do that. It doesn't matter, because if your idea is crazy, it means it's great. Moving to the next point, the main topic of the event, that is women empowerment. Women empowerment has dealt with a lot of problems, but I would say to all the people who are asking for rules and regulation, who are asking for new policies and marches and slogans, please stop doing that. You're wasting time and you're wasting resources and you're wasting material. Because the biggest problem in women empowerment, according to my perspective, is not anything else but women themselves. Do you have any idea how many times I've heard a girl say, I'm going to, let's say, University of Southern California, again, this is not a paid promotion, because my boyfriend is studying over there? Countless. And how many times I've seen or heard a guy say, I'm going to this university because my girlfriend is studying there? 0. 24 years is a very long time to hear a statement like that. So here come 3 types of categories, according to me, that are the biggest problem, biggest decay for women empowerment. Number 1, women who have potential but they do not have confidence to put themselves out there. I am one of them. Number 2, women who have confidence and potential but they simply don't want to do it. Number 3, women who have confidence, potential, and willingness, and they reach a certain point in their life where they become a CEO or manager or a chairwoman, but then they turn around, put their hand on their hip, and they're like, I'm going to make this my moral mission, that every woman who's trying to come up, I'm going to put hurdles in her life, just like Anila said. The moment we overcome these 3 categories, women empowerment will bloom. It will blast off the roof. And when it comes to women empowerment, I think the last point that I'm about to make will associate well with this topic. It's not a point, actually, but it will be an advice that I'd like to give to everyone. To any man, any woman, to anyone who listens to this, who's listening to it right now, please stand tall. Please face your fears. Please face your embarrassment. Please get slapped by embarrassment, because every human being in this world is equipped with a built-in toolkit to deal with embarrassment, but not every one of you is equipped to deal with regret. So just like it says, the pain of regret the burden of regret is very, very much heavier than the feeling of humiliation and embarrassment itself. And last but not least, I'd just like to give a big thank you to my family, my sister, who couldn't come for my big day because she's saving someone else's life in a hospital. She's the reason why I'm like that. She's the reason why I'm so powerful and so respectful towards people. The DMU TEDx team, Max, Jane, Khalid, thank you for being here, Madeline, Yasmin, Simon, thank you. Sanjaya, you're an exceptional woman. You guys made it possible for me to stand here, equipped me with the right amount of tools to deal with whatever voices were whispering on the back, you can't do it, you can't do it. I did it. I did it.